So welcome to Jumbo IS and welcome to lecture number 5 from Science and Technology in this lecture series called Prelims Powerplay 2026. In this lecture series, we cover all current affairs for UPSC Prelims, subject-wise. Plus, we also cover associated static topics as well. Because static topics that have some connection with current affairs have a high chance of featuring in your prelims examination. So we will cover everything, static as well as current affairs. Now, as you all know that we are continuing with science and technology in this lecture series. Okay, we have covered polity, economics so far, but we are continuing with science and technology. And the first 3 lectures of science and technology were related to biotechnology. And now we are in the phase of defense technology because questions are asked from India's defense capabilities, scientific defense capabilities, right? Technological defense capabilities. Now, in the previous lecture, we talked about, well, various naval assets. Today, we are going to talk about air defense, India's air defense. So today's topic of discussion is Sudarshan Chakra, air defense of India. Now, we all have heard about Sudarshan Chakra because we were all glued to our screens when Operation Sindoor was going on. And during Operation Sindoor, Pakistan tried its best to attack India via air. But India's air defense came out as the real winner because it thwarted all attacks, all missile aircraft attacks by Pakistan. Now, therefore, well, India's air defense became extra famous, world famous. And because it became famous and it dominated the news cycle of that day, well, it becomes important for us to cover it because current affairs are asked in your prelims examination and it is part of your UPSC current affairs, India's air defense. That is why we are going to cover everything related to India's air defense. Okay, so Sudarshan Chakra, that's the name given to our air defense system. Sudarshan Chakra, India's air defense. Let's begin discussion on this. All right, pay close attention, by the way. So, Science and Tech, lecture number 5, Sudarshan Chakra, air defense. Now, let's take a look at the subtopics that we will cover in this particular lecture. Okay, so first we'll talk about India's 3-layered system. Okay, India's air defense for long range, for medium range, if the enemy target is in the medium range, and short range. It is India's 3-layered system and it is very superior to many other countries of the world. So we will talk about which missiles are used for each layer. Okay, we'll talk about S-400 as well in this. So this is number 1 subtopic. Subtopic number 2 is emerging systems. Okay, we all know what assets India used as far as Operation Sindoor is concerned. But India is working on some new technologies as well, which would become available to our defense forces in coming years. So we will talk about those emerging systems. Then topic number 3 is the electronic component or the electronics behind these air defense systems. Okay, all these air defense systems are missiles, but you need to electronically integrate these missiles. You need to electronically integrate these radars, sensors, so that a radar spots an enemy aircraft and the missile is fired automatically. So we'll talk about operational integration. And then in the end, we'll talk about challenges and vulnerabilities in India's air defense. Well, it is good, but it's not perfect. So what challenges, loopholes are there in our air defense system, which we need to work on to make our air defense perfect? So we'll talk about that in subtopic number 4. Okay, so these are the 4 subtopics that we will zero in our attention on. So let's start discussing them one by one. Okay, starting with topic number 1, and that is 3-layered system. Now, if you were following Operation Sindoor in the media and you were following the press conferences by our 3 chiefs, okay, vice chiefs basically, Army, Air Force and Navy, who gave the press conference. Well, the Army chief made a very significant point, Lieutenant General Ghai, okay. He made a very significant point. He said that India's 3-layered air defense system was the real winner. Because if we missed our target in the long range, well, medium range missiles would hit it. If by any chance we would miss any enemy missile or aircraft in the medium range, then short range would get it. So we get 3 opportunities to destroy an enemy target. Okay, in the long range, medium range and short range. This is very good. Now, what sort of missiles were used in this 3-layered system? So we would talk about this 3-layered system one by one. Which system was used for long range, like S-400, which for medium range, which for short range? Simple. So let's quickly talk about this. So 3-layered system. So this is India's 3-layered system. So let me make it more clear. Okay. So for long range, well, which has a range up to 400 kilometers. So if there is an enemy target 400 kilometers far away from us, then we use S-400 systems. For medium range, if the target or if S-400 misses out, then the target enters India 25 to 100 kilometers within range. Then we have various missiles like Akash, Barak 8 from Israel, and medium range surface to air missile, MR-SAMs. Okay. And if these missiles also miss their targets, then we have short range missiles which would defend it. Okay. V-SHORADs, quick QR-SAM, AD, we'll talk about this, which has a range of 2 to 30 kilometers. Okay. So, well, this entire diagram would be shared with you in our app or on our website. So do take a look and remember this. This is sort of a mind map for India's 3-layered defense system. Save it. Okay. This would help you in quick revision. So you just have to look at this diagram and you'll remember everything. Quick revision, within 2 minutes, you'll remember everything as far as 3-layered defense system is concerned, air defense system is concerned. Okay. All right. Now, let's talk about each and every layer one by one. Let's start with long range. Okay. So for long range, we have one weapon, which we took from Russia, that is S-400 Triumph system. Okay. We all have seen S-400. The pictures of S-400 would be there in your notes, so don't worry. Okay. Now, let's gather some details, some important details about S-400 system from which MCQs can be asked in your prelims examination. Okay. So it is a Russian system developed by Almaz Ante. No need to remember the company's name. Just remember it is developed by Russia. Deal value. Well, we bought these systems from Russia at a whopping cost of $5.43 billion and we bought 5 squadrons. Russia has been able to deliver only 3 squadrons. And why? Why has Russia delayed these 2 squadrons? Well, because Russia itself needed these squadrons, because Russia was involved in a war with Ukraine. So Russia wanted these systems for itself. So that is why. But Russia has now promised that it will deliver these remaining 2 squadrons by 2026. Okay. Now, the best part about S-400 is it has a very high range, 400 kilometer. Okay. That is the range, horizontal range of the missile in S-400. Then it can fly as high as 30 kilometers. So altitude coverage is 30 kilometers and it can target anything. The best part about this is it can target anything. Enemy aircraft, cruise missile, ballistic missile, drones, stealth targets, those who are not caught by the radar. Well, this is the best part about this. Then, one S-400 battery can engage 6 targets simultaneously. Okay, that's very good. 72 missiles per battalion can intercept targets moving at speeds up to Mach 14. That means hypersonic missiles would also be caught or defended or deflected or destroyed by these missiles in S-400. So this is very good. Mach 14 means 14 times the speed of sound. Hypersonic weapons. Okay. Can reposition in 30 minutes. That means you can move its place within 30 minutes from one place to another. And it can be integrated with your electronic system so that radar spots it and this missile is automatically fired. No need for manual intervention. So this is very good. Now, what is the strategic advantage of S-400? First of all, our western border with Pakistan, that gets defended. Our northern border with China, Chinese drones and aircrafts, if a war happens, that gets defended. Then we can place one squadron of or one battery of S-400 within metropolitan cities, because defending these metropolitan cities is very important for India, especially Delhi. So Delhi NCR region, so one over there. Yes, one problem is this is a problem area. It's not significance or advantage. This is a problem area. The thing is, we bought this system from Russia. Okay. This makes USA angry. When we placed this order, USA was very angry. Okay. USA said, buy missile defense system from us. Don't buy from Russia. But we found out that S-400 is better than many American missile defense systems that USA was offering. So we zeroed in on this. Now, America threatened us with sanctions that if you'll buy from Russia, we are going to put economic sanctions on you. And those economic sanctions were under a law in USA called CAATSA, combating America's adversaries through Sanctions Act. Okay, US sanctions threat was there, but that threat was empty. USA did not put any sanctions and India was safely able to buy these weapons. Kudos to our diplomacy, I guess. Okay. So this is as far as long range S-400 is concerned. Now let's quickly shift our focus to medium range. First, we'll talk about Akash missile, which is indigenously developed, India's own system. Developed by DRDO, 100% made in India by HAL, and it has different variants. Akash missile and its upgraded version called Akash Prime. Okay, range 25 to 30 kilometers. Prime, Akash Prime has 30 kilometers. It is supersonic, 2.5 to 3 Mach, can fly up to the altitude or defend from aerial targets as high as 18 kilometers. It has command guidance with digital autopilot. Okay, kill probability 88% and 99%. That's great, very high probability. Can be deployed on trucks, quick reaction time from decision to firing 3 minutes are taken. Can engage low flying aircraft, helicopters, effective against drones and cruise missiles as shown in Operation Sindoor and what followed after that. Okay, then this is Indian system for medium range defense. Then what about Israeli system? Israel helped us a lot. And Israeli system, Israeli missiles were Barak 8 MRSAM. MRSAM stands for Medium Range Surface to Air Missile. Okay, developed by Israel Aerospace Industries and DRDO. Cost is this much. Deployed across naval and ground forces. Range is up to 100 kilometers, so better than Akash. Okay, altitude can fly as high as 20 kilometers. Guidance system is good, can target aircrafts, helicopters, drones, cruise missiles. What advantages are there over Akash? How is Barak 8 a little superior to India's Akash? Range and altitude, advanced radar integration. Okay, you can basically automate the entire system, and naval adaptation. Barak 8 missile can be used and fired from ships as well. Okay, so naval variants are always there. That is not the case with Akash, by the way. Okay, and now let's move on to short range. Okay, short range, we have VSHORADs. VSHORADs, very short range air defense system. Okay, these can also be fired from a person also. A person can launch from their shoulder, very short range. And QRSAM, quick reaction surface to air missile. So, well, some details about VSHORADs and QRSAM are given over here. They're also given in your notes. Some details which require no explanation. You just have to remember them. That is why I'm not spending time in the lecture on these topics. But, well, details about them are given in your notes. Okay. So just gather or read these details, read about these details a couple of times from your notes. Notes are very important. Memorize them. Any which way. So these are short range. Okay. Now, apart from this three-layered system, there are two more systems that are operational in India's defense forces. Okay. So as far as three-layered system is concerned, this is over. But two more systems are there which are integrated with this three-layered system. Okay. Number one is, well, ballistic missile defense. This will be used for ballistic missiles that are fired from Pakistan or China or any other adversary. Ballistic missile defense system only works against ballistic missiles, and they provide protection in short range only. Okay, so India has developed two systems, Prithvi air defense and advanced air defense, which was earlier called Ashwini air defense. Nonetheless, PAD and AD. Okay, now both of them were developed against DRDO. They provide protection only, remember, against ballistic missiles, only against ballistic missiles. Not against enemy aircrafts, cruise missiles, nothing of that sort. Only against ballistic missiles. Now, PAD's range is 100 kilometers, so it is medium range. AAD's range is 30 kilometers, medium range or short range. Two-tier exo-atmospheric, so PAD can protect you against any ballistic missile that is outside Earth's atmosphere. And endo-atmospheric. Well, when the missile is outside Earth's atmosphere and then enters the atmosphere, then AAD gets activated. So PAD is for, you know about ballistic missiles, they are fired like this. So when ballistic missile is fired, it exits the atmosphere, then enters the enemy's atmosphere. So when it is outside the Earth's atmosphere, PAD can attack it. And when it enters the enemy atmosphere, AD can attack it. You understand, right? So this is the thing. They are operational and regularly tested. Okay. So this is as far as ballistic missile defense is concerned. Okay, so let me just stop this lecture for a few seconds because I want to share something really important. Look, along with this lecture series, you will also get notes, exhaustive notes, which you have to memorize. Then you will be enrolled in our WhatsApp groups where you can ask all your doubts, even the simplest of queries. And along with this lecture series, you will also be getting a test series, an exhaustive list of tests tailor-made for your UPSC Prelims 2026 examination. To register, to get access to notes, WhatsApp groups, and tests, you would have to register on our app or on our website. The links to both app and website are given in the comment section below. You just have to click on the link and it will take you to our registration page. So register for Prelims Powerplay 2026 because you have no idea how beneficial this lecture series is and you'll just be spending 1 hour of your day. So join now, click on the links given in the comment section below. Now let's talk about emerging systems, emerging technological systems that India is working on. Okay, India and DRDO and many other scientific organizations are working on these systems, and once they are added to India's armory, well, India's air defense would become way superior than many countries. As good as, well, I shouldn't say American, but Israeli and close to American and many other European countries' systems. Okay, even China as well. So let's talk about emerging systems. Okay, so number one emerging system is Mission Sudarshan Chakra, which is currently being worked on. So all the air defense systems, all the 3-layered air defense systems will be integrated into this one big system called Mission Sudarshan Chakra. Okay, Sudarshan Chakra, a mythological weapon we all know about, also known as Indian Air Defense Weapon System. Okay. So Mission Sudarshan Chakra is India's ambitious multi-layered air and missile defense system announced to protect strategic, like nuclear power plants, civilian, like cities, cultural sites nationwide by 2035. So it will get ready by 2035. It integrates surveillance through radars, interception when the surveillance, when an enemy threat is coming, intercepted, retaliatory capabilities across land, air, sea, space, cyber domains. By the way, one thing, just remember this. Well, whenever there is any air attack on India, then we protect against that air attack through two means. Okay? Kinetic, non-kinetic. Kinetic means that if an enemy fighter jet or a missile is coming, we intercept it through our own missile. Kinetic. Non-kinetic is sometimes when a drone is coming, we don't intercept it with our missile. We hack the drone, cyber hack the drone and move it elsewhere. Or you use cyber warfare against aircrafts, against missiles, cruise missiles. So that is non-kinetic. Plus another thing is being developed in non-kinetic, and that is laser weapons. You fry this drone, completely burn it through directed laser. Okay. Now these laser weapons are called directed energy weapons, DEW. And this DEW is also being developed under Sudarshan Chakra. Okay. So remember this, kinetic and non-kinetic. It's very important. Okay. Kinetic means using missiles to destroy air targets. Non-kinetic means no missiles, just cyber hacking or laser. Okay. So Sudarshan Chakra links 6,000 to 7,000 radars with AI-driven threat modeling. So we use AI, proactive detection of drones, hypersonic missiles, hybrid attacks, DEW, laser weapons, microwave systems enable non-kinetic. So DEW and microwave systems, microwave lasers would be non-kinetic. Okay. Now already the thing is that there are so many missiles we have for air defense. But the thing is that we need to have an electronic system to integrate them. So I'll explain this, okay? So first you need detection of enemy aerial threat, missile or aircraft. That happens through radars. So first you detect, then you fire a missile. Now both these systems should be connected so that as soon as you detect, you automatically fire. And which missile to fire? Should you use S-400 for this? Or should you use Akash for this? All of these decisions are taken electronically. So we need a back-end electronic system. Okay. Now Indian Air Force already has integrated air command and control structure or system. This is with Air Force. Indian Army has Akash Tir for Army. This electronic system which integrates all missile defense, radars, command and control, missiles, everything. Okay. So this architecture, Mission Sudarshan Chakra or Sudarshan Chakra, will be integrated with IACCS, Akash Tir and integrated rocket force, everything. So it would be one big missile defense, air defense. Understood? Okay. So what are going to be its benefits? Indigenization, because this is completely Indian. Cost effective, because we are producing it and we are known for producing things for cheap. Integration seamlessly works with S-400 Akash Barak 8. So all these missiles would be part of Sudarshan Chakra. Will be deployed in Delhi and metro cities so that we can protect them. And future plan is replacement of older systems, expansion to other metros. Okay. Now, apart from Mission Sudarshan Chakra, we are also working on a few other things. Counter drone capabilities. So we are basically working on a system, a missile defense that can be fired from the shoulder of a soldier to destroy drones. Okay. Man portable. The man portable means it can be carried by a man. Counter drone system. Okay. Inducted in 2024, forward bases across borders. It has been deployed. We are working on it to improve it, but it has been deployed. Neutralize drone threats in 6 to 10 kilometer range. Okay. Private sector participation is there. Multiple anti-drone technologies are being developed under this. Well, we are trying to make it affordable so that our budget doesn't get, well, haywire. Rapidly deployable systems. Okay. And then another system which we are working on is Project Kusha. Okay. The details about Project Kusha are given in your notes, but just hear me out to understand what Project Kusha is. Project Kusha is Extended Range Surface to Air Missile System, XRSAM. So remember this, okay? Developed by DRDO, and it is developed to bridge the gap between S-400 and MRSAM. Because Akash missile or Barak missile have a range of 100 km. S-400 has a range of 400 km. There is nothing in between. So for that, we have XRSAM under Project Kusha, which is under development. Its range would be 150 to 200, status under development, expected induction by late 2020s, 2027, 28, 29. Okay, and it will use AI powered electronic integration. So it will be powered by AI. Very ambitious project by DRDO. Okay, all right. Now let's move on to, well, third subtopic, and that is operational integration. All of this, all these assets which are required for, well, air defense have to be integrated at the back end electronically. Because if you are doing it manually, then, well, there are going to be errors. So for example, if you're doing it manually, then someone is looking at what drone and what fighter jet is coming, then give an order which missile should be used, connect the radar with missile launch, and all these things. And well, sometimes the generals, the top generals, need to have a map of the war, where the fighter jets are flying, where missiles are flying, overall map, so that they can take real-time decisions. This is known as situational awareness. Now, all of this requires an electronic backend, which will merge, integrate all these assets, all these three layers. For that, well, currently we have IACCS with Air Force and Akash Tir with Indian Army. But we are building more systems where we can merge the two, so that Air Force and Army do not work in isolation, they work together, like there was a requirement in Operation Sindhu. Okay, so let's talk about operational integration of all these assets, radar, sensors, missiles. Okay, so operational integration. So yeah, integrated air defense system. So what are the components of this air defense system? Radar coverage, command centers, where you will give a decision that there is a Pakistani fighter jet, fire S-400 or Barak 8. Data sharing. Well, maybe the data of enemy aircrafts with Air Force will be useful for Army or Navy. This data sharing should be there. Real-time intelligence sharing and automated response. You don't have to take a decision. AI will take the decision whether you should hit this Pakistani fighter jet with S-400 or Barak 8. That is automated response. So these are the components that are required in operational integration. And this is what Sudarshan Chakra is working on. It will integrate Air Force's IACCS and Indian Army's Akash Tir, which are currently operational. Okay, make sense? Now, in your notes, a table is given which compares and contrasts IACCS and Akash Tir systems. Okay, their advantages, disadvantages. So go through that as well. Clear? So yeah, S400 is the strategic layer because it is long range. Akash is medium range, operational layer, and V Shorad's tactical layer, short range. Counter drone systems, pinpoint defense. This is a sequence that you should remember, okay? And yes, like I said, Akash Tir versus IACCS in your notes, go through that. It is given in tabular form, so you don't have to worry. It'll be easier for you to remember, okay? And now let's talk about the last subtopic very quickly, and that is challenges and vulnerabilities. Look, no system is perfect, okay? And we should focus on vulnerabilities in a system so that we can improve upon them. Now, India's Sudarshan, Chakra or IACCS or Akash Tir have proven their capability. Yet, they are far from perfect. And we should talk about their imperfections so that we can improve upon them and create a better air defense system. So let's focus on challenges and vulnerabilities, okay, very quickly. Challenges and vulnerabilities. So number one challenge is technological gaps. Project Kusha, which will be a superior thing, is under development, and we are too much dependent on foreign missiles like S-400, Barak 8, and limited indigenous long-range capabilities. We have no Indian air defense for long range. This is a problem, okay? Then operational issues. Coordination between multi-layered systems, okay? Still, there are coordination gaps between Air Force and Army. Then people should be trained properly. Supply chain for spare parts. This is a problem. We place an order for a spare part of a missile and that order gets delivered very late. So these are some supply issues. Then emerging threats. Hypersonic missiles greater than speed of Mach 5 are called hypersonic. S-400 can tackle, but hypersonic missiles which have entered our medium air defense or short range, we don't have any system for hypersonic missiles. And if someone attacks us with drone swarms, like 1,000 drones in one go, that is difficult, okay? Plus, cyber attacks on Sudarshan Chakra or IACCS, Akash Tir, this is a vulnerability. And fighter jets, which are currently with USA and China, which are stealth, not detected on a radar, that is a challenge. Then there are geographical challenges because some systems cannot be deployed on Himalayan terrain against China. Vast borders requiring extensive coverage. To safeguard our entire western or eastern border, we require at least 10-20 S-400s. We have just 5. So this is a problem. Power and logistics, yes. Electricity and logistics in remote areas, this is an issue. Okay, so these are some of the challenges. And that would be all. With that, we conclude today's session. So we have covered all you need to know as far as India's air defense is concerned. Now, I hope this turned out to be useful for you. In fact, I'm sure it has added value to your preparation. It is definitely useful, provided you memorize this lecture from the notes, you ask your doubts in our WhatsApp groups, and you practice MCQs in the upcoming test. Just do these 3 things and definitely, mark my words, this has really added value to your preparation. All right? So yeah, that would be all. With that, I conclude today's lecture. Thank you so much for watching. And I would leave you with the promise of seeing you again with another topic in this lecture series called Prelims Powerplay. Thank you, everyone.